So we're back doing an Odyssey, and this one is called the 3-Tower Run. And I think that in the past few weeks, Ninja Kiwi has been killing it with these Odysseys. They've been actually kind of fun and engaging to play, and I think that this one might be very fun as well. Now let me show you guys first off the rules. So as the title suggests, we have 3 towers to pick, but you don't have unlimited amounts of those towers. It's like only 3, like 3 towers straight up, which makes this thing very interesting. So first off, let me pick the tower so you know what we're gonna run. So we're gonna run a spike and a, oh, that's the wrong one. We're gonna run a spike and a buccaneer and a hero. Again, very limited choices on basically all these towers, only like 4 or 3 of them. And with the heroes, you only have 6 to choose from, so we're gonna go for Captain Churchill. Now let me show you guys the islands that we're gonna be playing on. The first few are kind of, you know, you kind of start off easy and then you go into the more difficult one. So this one is just Spark Path on hard standard. We're gonna run through this one very quickly. This next one, 200% of the Moab speed. This is gonna be fun. This one after that, we're still playing on beginner maps, by the way. So hard standard with 300% of the ceramic health, rounds 40 to 76. This one, 10 to 85 ABR, the entire thing. Honestly, it shouldn't be too difficult because the map is end of the road. And then this last one is the one that I'm most excited about, because this one we're playing a full game of Chimps mode with Bloons speed and Moab speed decreased a little bit. But keep in mind, the entire setup is 3 towers only. So essentially, this last island is a 3-tower Chimps run. Yep, they actually make you do a 3-tower Chimps as the last island in order to get the win. That's gonna be super fun. So let's start off with the first one. So this first one has absolutely no rules, only around 6 to 50. So I think we are gonna breeze through this one. And then with the choices, with the tower choices, I can explain a little bit what's going on in my head when I pick these towers. The idea is that we need to be dealing with every type of balloon and then every type of difficulty, and so only a handful of towers can do that. Like for example, the Buccaneer, if you go for something like the 022, you can pop every type of balloon. Also, the carrier flagship is very good by itself, and then I chose Captain Churchill as a hero because he scales really well into the late game, so he's going to be amazing on the last map where it's essentially the 3-tower Chimps one. He can also pop all types of balloons by himself, and he's a very decent hero nowadays if you just have the money and the patience to kind of wait for him to level up. And then the Spike Factory is the exact same thing. We're going to have a game with the 300% ceramic, so we can go for the top path of the Spike Factory, and we have a game with 200% Moai, so we can either use the middle path ability onto the Buccaneer so we can hook those guys, or in the last one, like we can just, I guess, draw the carpet of spikes, and that's gonna be very helpful in our 3-tower Chimps run. So that's kind of my line of thinking for these ones, and honestly the first island is definitely not gonna be difficult at all. So here's what I'm gonna do. I'm just gonna drop, I guess, go something like this 032, and honestly this guy might even, if he doesn't solo, then the 042 is gonna solo like 100%, right? Yeah, so basically just as expected. This is round 49. I know it's been a while, but yeah, this is basically what's been happening in the past few rounds. So this guy's obviously gonna win by himself. There's this achievement, by the way, called I think it was like a 1 for all for one, something like that, in which you need to have like 1 tower on screen and it's supposed to win. I don't know why I remembered that one, but I guess if you need a tower that's gonna do the achievement, like this is the one, because you just buy, I guess you can even buy the Pirate Lord if you wanted to at the end. And there we go, that is island number 1. Very fast and very easy. Alright, so let's continue the Odyssey. Obviously these islands are going to start becoming a little bit more difficult, but I'm not going to be wasting your guys' time onto like these early rounds or whatever it's going to be. So whenever something fun happens, I'm going to be showing that. So this one is rounds 20 to 60. Let's actually check out the rules. So 20 to 60 with $8,000 and 200% on the Moab speed. Now for this one, I was actually thinking of dropping Captain Churchill, and then one of the towers that we probably want to buy is going to be the Spike, and I was thinking the Spike ability, although probably not necessary if you go for like the boat again. So let's actually have it like this, same as before. Get the monkey pirates as soon as possible. We're going to use the ability for the one around 40, and then we can just get like a Spike storm and alternate the abilities, I was thinking. Alright, so 39, the first mob is about to appear, and I'm actually going to let the towers attack by themselves, because if they can pop mob class balloons by just using their auto attacks, that means that we probably are not going to have to use abilities, and this is not going to be as difficult as it sounds. So let's just let them attack, and it seems like, oh my god, this is not even close. Alright, so we can probably do something similar to the last island. We can get the Pirate Lord, and if we're popping them with the monkey pirates, and the Pirate Lord is obviously going to win by itself, so let's just save up money for that guy, and I think that's going to be it, honestly, for island number 2. Yeah, so thankfully Ninja Kiwi is really nice, and they are giving us a start round of round 20, so we don't exactly have to wait that long, but we do get the money for the Pirate Lord about the same time as before, so let's just buy it, and I feel like let's just kind of watch like maybe 52, which has 3 mobs in it. Yeah, let's just see how we do on this one, and then it's probably gonna be fine. Then we can even hook the BFB around 60, I was thinking, and yes, this is not even close actually with these mobs. Alright, so that should be about it for island number 2. Alright, so in comes round 60 in the BFB, so we can just do this, and that's gonna be island number 2. And for the next one, I think this next one was actually the one with the 300% on the ceramics, if I'm not mistaken. Let's check if that was the one. Yeah, okay, so rounds 40 to 76 with 300% on the ceramic health, and they give us 10k. And if you guys remember, on the previous one, we played rounds 20 to 60, so we're like 20 rounds ahead, but only $2,000 more on this one. So how do we want to do this? I was thinking of pulling out the spike, actually, the top hat spike. So maybe start things off with a 320 on the spike. We're still gonna need this guy, Captain Church, so maybe have him like this, but he's gonna start at level 3, so he's not gonna do any damage. And I guess we can still go for the boat, but maybe we can switch things up. Maybe we can go for the carrier flagship, I was thinking. So let's go like this, and hopefully this is gonna be enough for the first Moab. Honestly, we can use the level 3 ability, which is, by the way, not gonna do anything, but let's just use it. I guess it's fine. We are missing a lot of damage to this Moab, but the most important thing is gonna be the ceramics and the insides if we can tank it. And with the spike balls, yes, absolutely not even close. I really love this island, by the way, because this is the one in which you're supposed to kind of dig yourself out of a hole, I guess, because they don't give you a lot of money. It's only 10k, so you need to kind of save up and buy the defensive towers. And so the next one, let's go for the destroyer as soon as possible. This is gonna start owning the small balloons. It's again not exactly, you know, popping these ceramics instantly per se, but it is doing a fairly decent job versus them. Yeah, and once Churchill starts leveling up, I mean, he's gonna be doing a lot of damage by himself. So round 49, this is gonna be an important one. We can buy two things. Number one is gonna be the aircraft carrier. Number two is gonna be the spiked mines. So let's see how we do on 49 first. So a lot of ceramics in this one. These are the 300%ers. Thankfully, we're not going to free play in this one. And yes, look at their towers. They're defeating everything before they even make it to the spike balls. Alright, so let's go like this. Let's buy the aircraft carrier next, I was thinking, and then we can still get the spiked mines just like as a safety net at the back. Although I feel like the more Churchill levels up, the less need we have of this tower. But we're gonna have some camo ceramics on the next one. So it's mainly gonna be the spikes and Churchill destroying them. And wait a minute, is Churchill actually soloing the 300% ceramics? I think he is. Because we have no camo detection on this guy. This is only a 420. But let's buy the spiked mines anyways. And I think the next one is just gonna be the carrier flagship, if that thing is even necessary, because Churchill seems to be kind of decent on his own. Yeah, so this one I think is gonna be interesting watching 63, because that's gonna be around with a lot of ceramics. And then the end round is 76 for a reason. The reason is, well, obviously the huge wave of regrow ceramics that appear on that one. So Churchill's gonna level up decently by that point, and let's just watch 63 first, and then we're gonna see what happens for the other ones. We're gonna have the money for the flagship, by the way, soonish. So in comes the first wave, and nothing is even reaching the spiked mines yet, and I feel like nothing is even gonna reach them, honestly. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, I feel like that these two guys, like the carrier and Churchill, are just way too good. I think Churchill got buffed in the recent update. They gave him something like, I don't know, maybe it was like tiny, like 1-2 damage or something like that. But it is adding up, guys, especially in situations like this one, because 300% ceramics doesn't even look like it's an issue for him. Yeah, but I think we made a great choice with the tower so far. So let's get the carrier flagship, and with the help of Churchill and the spike mines, I think this island is done as well. Yeah, there we go. That's island number 3, so not even close as we predicted, because these towers that we have are a little bit too strong. And let's move on to the next one. Now, this island, this is gonna be ABR, actually. Thankfully, we are playing on an easy map, well, I should say a beginner map, and we have some very nice straight lines for Churchill. So let's start things off with Churchill, and then let's kind of think what we want to do on this one. This specific map dips a little bit into free play because it goes up to around 85, and so I was thinking of doing something like, I don't know, let's start off with the boat. We need to get camo detection actually for this one, so let's start off with the crow's nest. And then what are we going for, guys? Maybe the top one, maybe get a carrier flagship like we did in the previous one, but make sure it's a 502 this one. Oh, and you guys know what? We actually need to be careful of the camo lead balloon appearing around 24 and then a couple more around 30. So we're gonna need the level 6, I think it was, yeah, allows Churchill to pop camo blues. We're gonna need level 6 on Churchill for those guys, and I don't think level 6 is happening, at least not for 24. So let's go like this, because we went for the 302 on the Buccaneer. That now means that we need to go for the 200 at least on the Spike Factory so we can pop that guy. So are we gonna have the money? Did I mess up actually? Maybe we shouldn't have bought the destroyer now that I think about this, because that was like $3,000 that upgrade. Oh yikes, I might have messed up, guys. We need 650 and this is, oh, we have 322. That's ridiculous. I messed up, and we can tank this guy because it's only one for sure. We're gonna lose some lives and some mana shield. Oh, but I messed up a little bit. Okay, let's make sure we don't make the same mistake for the other ones. Is Churchill gonna get to 6 before round 30? He might actually. Yeah, this is gonna be absolutely perfect. So round 30 and he is just on time for level 6, which is gonna give him camo detection, and there it is. But you know what? We're probably gonna be going for something like the 240 and the 250 spike anyway, so might as well buy the 220 now. I was thinking the mob around 40 on ABR is fortified, so we can go two ways about that guy. We can either save up for the aircraft carrier, or we can just buy the mob share, which is a little bit cheaper. Alright, so it's round 39 and we're just about there with the money for the aircraft carrier. I would rather buy this thing instead of the Moab Shredder for now, because the 40s on ABR have a lot of Moab class balloons as well. So yeah, look at this thing. These planes and the small missiles that they launch, yeah, it's just done with the 45 Moab. The thing I'm actually thinking about is how do we want to play this thing long term, because we are going up to 85 and I want two towers actually. I want the carrier flagship, but I do want the carpet spikes as well, and I don't think that's happening because it's a little bit too expensive. So around 55, and this is the plan. Let's start things off with the carrier flagship. This guy has a lot of damage, so he's gonna be able to carry for sure up until free play, and then maybe even a little bit inside of free play. I don't exactly have a good gauge on ABR rounds, so like I know that this thing is, for example, if these were normal rounds, this thing is gonna obviously go very far by itself, and especially in combination with Churchill, right? But because it's ABR, let's actually go for the Moab Share. I'm gonna get the Spike Storm, and then we're gonna use the Spike Storm ability as necessary, but hopefully that's not gonna be too many times. Alright, wait a minute. We actually did get the money for the carpet spikes. Look at this thing. I thought it was a little bit too expensive and there's no way we get it, but look at this thing go. We're actually gonna buy it because why not? Alright, so this is gonna solidify essentially these next few rounds, and you guys know what? I think this is gonna be the lineup for the 3 tower chimps run that we're gonna have on the next stage. One of the changes I'm planning on making is actually just making this flagship a 520. That's gonna leave us with camo detection being focused only on Captain Churchill and the Spike Factory, but I don't think that's gonna be an issue. Like, the only camo that actually concerns me is gonna be the DDTs, but because we're going for the carpet of spikes, obviously this thing is insane versus DDTs and just more blast balloons. So yeah, I don't think we're gonna have an issue, and honestly we have Churchill's level 10 ability. So here we go. That's gonna be the last of this island, and then let's move on to the last one. And here it is. This is the last one. So cranked on hard and chimps mode, 3 tower chimps with 1.3k, and we have a little bit of helping hand from Ninja Kiwi. Balloon speed and more speed is 75%. This is obviously going to be very helpful, so we must actually start with the Spike Factory given the towers that we're starting with. They give us 1.3k. We can remove the obstacle for 1,000, but we will still not be able to afford the Buccaneer. So we are gonna have to defend the first few rounds like this. Hopefully this is enough. Oh, wait a minute. We didn't throw the entire Odyssey, right? This Spike is gonna be able to defend by itself. I mean, that's a huge wave of blue balloons. I'm really looking to get to 1.4k at this point because I really want to place down the Buccaneer as soon as possible. Oh my god, it's not looking like it's gonna survive. We're gonna need to buy an upgrade, I'm pretty sure. Let's see. It's gonna be ridiculously close. Oh my god, what just happened? That was a very clutch spike, but actually, now that I'm looking at this, we are playing on chimps mode, and for some reason I thought we have 1 life, but we have 50 lives because this is an Odyssey. Oh, so we actually lost we lost 3 lives, even though that was a clutch spike at the end, but oh my god, we have a little bit of lives left to lose. Alright, that completely slipped my mind, but we can now buy the Buccaneer finally. So let's remove the obstacle. Let's have the Buccaneer like this. Maybe do we want to have it like this? So the main attack catches more balloons. I guess this is gonna be a little bit better for sure. Let's have it like this. And here is the plan for the next few rounds. Let's start things off with the Grape Shot because this is like a very cheap and a very powerful, damage boost for the Buccaneer. Okay, so 22. I'm gonna try and place Churchill really fast so we get the XP from this round as well. And let's have him like this. I was thinking, is this the best spot? Because I kind of want to have him attacking like this straight. It's not exactly a straight line, but yeah, you guys know what I mean. I want to have him attack like this line as well, this line right here, and then I want him defending the exit as well a little bit. Alright, there we go. The setup is set in stone. Now the only thing we need to do is buy the upgrades, and then later we're going to need to juggle some abilities. So because we know that obviously, we've seen these towers in action in the past few islands, so I'm not going to bore you guys with what's going to be happening in the next few rounds. So I'm going to see you guys in a second when things get a little bit tougher than this. So it's round 89, and it's been a while since the last time we talked. I know, I've been just kind of idling on the side and just waiting for these towers to kind of get, something that's actually going to be challenging to them. And so far, I think we've had nothing, and we also haven't spent the money. We're about $73,000. This is going to be around 90, and I'm going to upgrade to a carpet spikes as soon as these DDTs appear, so we get the passive ability 1. So we're going to take care of these guys, no problem. And there we go. This is the entirety of the lineup. Now, Now, a good thing about, a run like this, like the 3 tower chimps that we're doing, is that once you have bought your towers that you've envisioned, like for example, for us, it's the Carrier Flagship and it's the Carpet of Spikes along with Captain Churchill, then you get left with a lot of extra cash. And so currently we're sitting at about $35,000, which is going to grow in a couple of tens of thousands actually in the next upcoming rounds. And so we can just put that money back into Captain Churchill if necessary, is what I was thinking. One of the things that I would do a little bit differently with this setup is that I would probably have the Carpet of Spikes a little bit towards the middle, so that the main attack, because the main attack is actually a little bit stronger, so it actually gets dispersed pretty fast, right? So we can do a little bit of extra damage with that, but obviously that wasn't possible due to the towers and just how this thing works, because we were forced to start with the Spike Factory, but that's gonna be completely fine, I think. So round 95, and things so far have not been close. I think things are gonna start being more interesting starting from this round, because we're gonna have obviously DDTs on this one. So we got level 15, and this is an important one for round 98 because we get the extra damage versus 40 fights and lead balloons, and this is gonna be very important on 95. So we do have an active ability, we get a passive one, so let's see how this one is gonna do. That's a huge chunk of the DDTs that just got disappeared in a second. Let's dump another active ability now, and I feel like we're gonna get a passive one after that, and that should be the end of 95. Yeah, there we go. So in comes the passive one, and that should be about it with all the DDTs. And there we go. We made a good decision, guys, with these towers, I feel like. Also, I really don't mind saving these Churchill abilities, because even though we're doing fine, like, you don't know when you're gonna need them, so it's better to kind of, have them in your back pocket instead of just using them. But the good thing is that this level 3 uptime becomes greater and greater the more Churchill levels up. So there goes 96. We did see some 45s on this one. It's only 45 mods, but we didn't have any issues. And obviously 98, 99, and 100 are gonna be the big ones. And here we go, guys. The last 3 rounds of our 3 tower chimps runs. So we have a lot of money. So I'm gonna spend all this money, by the way, just to buy some Churchill levels. So that's up to level 17. We get some more damage on the AP shells, and the more barrage damage is getting increased. I think this happened in the last update, actually. So I think we can dump the Moab Barrage if we wanted to, and it should come off cooldown for round 100, I'm pretty sure. That might be a little bit problematic, by the way, because if we pop all these guys at once, we might not be able to handle them. So let's chill, and then when these balloons start coming in a little bit closer, I'm going to use the level 3 ability. So I think right about now is going to be a good time for the level 3. Let's try and get rid of as many of these balloons as possible, but honestly, it's still a huge chunk of the round left. Let me check the pops on the Carpet of Spikes, by the way, 220k. How about the flagship? Oh, this guy is carrying 1.35 million, and the rest is on Captain Churchill, about the same as the Spike. How's it looking? A lot of 45, guys. Oh, is this gonna hold though? That's a lot of balloons. Let's do we want to use the active ability? I'm trying to save it. We do get a passive one. We're gonna get the level 3 ability in a second, and I'm gonna try and save the active for 99 in case the passive gets launched at the wrong time, but I think it's gonna be fine. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, so it's only the ZMGs left, so we do manage to save the Spike Storm ability, and there it is. That's 98. Alright, so for 99, I'm just gonna dump the active ability for these 45 DDTs, and we also get a passive one immediately after it, and there we go. And then for this one, I mean, we could just spend the remaining of the 32,000 for level 18. This is gonna give us a little bit of extra damage. But you guys know what? I am just gonna dump the Moab Barrage onto this bat, which is not gonna pop it, but it's gonna do a decent amount of damage, I think. There we go. We get the pop on the bat thanks to these spikes, and let's just use, there we go. We get the passive ability. Let's use the active one in combination with the level 3, and there it is. There goes the latest Odyssey. Alright, there we go. We get our rewards, and that was a very fun Odyssey, and I really hope Ninja Kiwi makes these guys a little bit more challenging so that we can actually make videos off of them, because I really do enjoy the last couple of Odysseys. So that's it for this one. Thank you guys so much for watching the video, and I'm going to see you all in the next one.